Hi, I'm Selva Prabhakaran and welcome back. In this one, we will see how to automate the AWS Cloud using the boto3 library, which is the official software development toolkit provided by AWS so that you can programmatically work with various AWS services such as the S3 service, EC2 service, EC2 and various different types of services using Python, and that you can do via boto3. Now for this particular lesson, we are going to do everything from scratch. So for that, the first step is you need to go to aws.amazon.com, and if you don't already have an account, go here and set up an account. You will probably need to give your credit card details, but you will not be charged unless you use some of the paid AWS services. Now for this particular lesson, we are going to be using the free tier and we will not be incurring any charge for this. So for the first step, I'm going to assume that you already have Python installed and you either have a Jupyter based environment or a say VS Code or any Python environment so that you are ready to work on Python code. You also should be having an AWS account. Also, I'm going to assume that you have some amount of familiarity working with the terminal if you're going to be using a MacBook or a Linux computer, or the command prompt if you're going to be working with a Windows PC. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started with installing the boto3 library. Now, for this, we need to install it using pip install boto3. You can run it directly in a Jupyter notebook like this and this will get it installed. Now to confirm that it is installed, you can import boto3, and if you check the version, my current version is 1.37.28. If you have a more recent version, well and good. Alright, now the next step is we want to configure the AWS credentials. Why we want to do it is, we want to connect to AWS from our local computer. Right, from local Jupyter notebook we want to connect. In order for that to happen, we need to get a security key from AWS and configure that with your local computer so that you will be able to run the boto3 code. That is, you can connect to say the S3 service or EC2 service or any other service. So to do that, go to your AWS console. I hope you have logged in. Once you have logged in, search for IAM here inside the search bar. Search for IAM. Alright, click on this. You can also click on the star so that you can bookmark it. I have clicked on IAM. And it has loaded the screen. Click on users on the left hand side. And it will load all the users. Now, I already have this particular user called boto3-user. For this particular exercise, we are going to create a new user. So click on the create user button on the top right. Then give a username boto3-user2. Alright. And click on provide user access to the AWS management console. And then here click on I want to create an IAM user. And you can give a custom password for this. Let me write my password. Alright. And then this particular setting, I'm going to turn it off. It says users must create a new password at next sign in recommended. You can have it, what it will do is it will ask you to create a new password than what you have created here. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off because I am the user in this case, and click on next. We need to attach some policies, so we are going to give administrator access policy for this particular user. So click on attach policies directly, and you can either search for admin here, and it will show you the administrator access. Click on this and we are good to go to the next screen. Click on next. You can review the screen. So the username is boto3-user2. It's going to have the administrator access. Everything is set. Alright, and then click on create user. This will take a few seconds to create the user, and in this screen it will give you a download for the .csv file. So click on this file. That file is going to have the credentials for this particular user. So this is the URL that you will need to use in order to log in for the user that you have just created. Alright, so you can go to a new terminal, give that URL. So we have already logged in and it is now Okay, it is going to the login page. So here you can click on boto3 user 2. We have just created this particular user. The password, I know the password, so that is set. And you can log in and start doing your work. So once you sign in, it will take you to a similar screen what you have here. Okay, it has already signed out. So let me sign in with a new user that we have created. So let me sign in here. Alright, so I have signed in. So I have given the correct password and have signed in into the screen. Let it load. So here we are. We have a fresh account for the boto3 user 2 right on the top. So now we are set. What we need to do is we want to create a secret access key. For that, we need to go to the IAM console. Alright, so I'm going to click on IAM. So this takes us to the IAM dashboard. Now again, click on users. And we have the boto3 user 2. This is the one that we have just created. Click on that user again. Now here, you have the security credentials tab here. Alright, so you can click on this. And if you scroll down, you will be able to find create access key. Either you can click on this button or you can click on the create access key on the top here. Alright, so you need to click on the create access key, click on this. And here we will choose the command line interface because we want to access AWS from the CLI from your local computer. So click on this and come to the bottom, click on the confirmation and click next. Now you can describe purpose of this. I will say just a course and then click on create access key. Alright, now it has created the access key. Let us download this access key. Alright, so this downloaded file will contain the secret access key. So it will contain both the access key ID and the secret access key. This is exactly what we will need in order to configure the AWS CLI. So keep this safe, keep it stored somewhere safe. So our main purpose is set. Now we can continue everything from inside our VS Code. Now we have the credentials, but we need to set it up first, right? So go to inside your VS Code, go to terminal and then create a new terminal. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to be using the command prompt. I'm going to do a CLS here. So the first step, we need to install the AWS CLI. So we can do a pip install AWS CLI. This will install the AWS CLI package. I have already done this, so I'll just run it again. It will show requirement already satisfied. Alright, so it is already installed, so I don't have to do anything actually. So this is done. Now once this is installed, you need to configure AWS. Alright, so write AWS space configure. So it will ask you for the AWS access key ID. So the value for this is present in the CSV file that we recently downloaded. So copy this value from the CSV file, paste it here and hit enter. Alright, then it will again ask for the secret key. That also copy it from inside the CSV file, paste it here. Alright, so I'm going to just enter some values. No, let me not do this. I have already run this. Alright, so I'm going to skip this step. Yes, terminate batch job. Yes, terminated. I'm going to skip this step and I'm not changing anything. Alright, but you need to enter the right values for the key ID and it will ask you for the secret key. Also, additionally, it will also ask you for the region. For the region, my region in this case, right now, I think I belong to the default region, which is the very first region here is US-East-1. So keep this as the region for your CLI and you can continue. And when asked for the output format, keep it as JSON. That's it. Now, after you complete these steps, it will create a credentials file that will be present in this particular location if you're going to be using a MacBook. Alternately, for Windows users, that will be present in this particular location where the user profile, in this case, is your C:users and the name of the user for your computer. You can go and check in that location. If this file is present, then all your setup has been done properly. Now, everything is set up. Now, just to check, let me run this particular line of code to see if my account is working or not. Okay, it says your connected to AWS, your account ID is so on and so forth. So this is working. So in this code, we have just connected to a security token service using boto3.client. Let's not worry about this particular piece of code right now. We will understand the code part in a little bit more detail very shortly. Alright, so when working with boto3 library, there are two ways that you can, two different APIs that boto3 provides in order for us to interact with AWS. So that is, one API is the client-based API and other one is the resource-based API. Alright, we will see both of this in action. So here's an example of a client-based API. Now if you want to connect to the X3 service, so everywhere we will need to install or import boto3. Alright, so this is done. Now to connect to a client or connect to a particular AWS service, we can either use boto3.client or we can also use boto3.resource. Alright. The resource-based interface is sort of a more Pythonic interface. So for example, you have created a resource here and you can use Python-like syntax to sort of iterate through all the buckets present in this particular S3 bucket that you have. Alright. Or rather, this one just lists down all the different S3 buckets. Alternately, for the client-based syntax, you can do the same thing. Everything that you do with resource, you can do with client also. And this is more exhaustive, I would say. So client, for all the different AWS services, you will definitely have a boto3 client to be able to create. And you can work through all of those resources available in S3, available in AWS. However, in resource-based syntax, it is not guaranteed that everything will be available in this kind of a syntax. Anyway, the same thing you can do with boto3 client-based interface. So we have created the client, right? Now you can use list buckets and that will list down all the different buckets present in this particular response object. And one more thing, you can also manually create a AWS session. Now when you create a session, right, once you create a session, you can either create a client-based interface or a resource-based interface. Either of this will work. But suppose if you want to work with different regions of AWS, you can create a session that is specific to that particular region and you can do all those activities following based on the session-based resource or client. Alright, now let's start working. First step, we are going to be, so in the rest of the video, we are going to be working with the S3 buckets, AWS S3 buckets. First step is we are going to create a bucket. We have not created it, right? So for this particular user, no buckets have been created. So we'll create a first bucket. Now here, we are going to use a client-based interface. So I'm first creating the client, give a name for the bucket and use that name to create the bucket. And the name that we are going to be using has to be globally unique. Alright, if some other user has created a bucket with the same name, we cannot use the same name here. Alright, so what we need to do is, I have already created a bucket in this name. So I'm going to change this name slightly. Right, now I'm going to run this piece of code. So this has created a bucket with this particular name, my first boto3 bucket 2025-3. Now this bucket should be present inside your AWS. So go to S3. If you don't have that button, you can search for S3 inside the search bar and then you will get S3. Click on that, then you will come to the screen. Now here, this is the bucket that we just created. Alright, I'm clicking on this particular bucket. Inside this, no object will be present right now. So we have come inside this bucket, no object is present. Now let's go back. We are also going to enable bucket versioning. So what that means is if you are going to be creating multiple versions of objects inside this bucket, you will be able to go back to previous versions and all. Alright, so we can enable that using this particular piece of code. So which is S3 client.put bucket versioning, give the bucket name and set the status equal to enabled. So this will enable the bucket versioning for the bucket that we have provided here. Next, let's create a file and upload to the S3 bucket that we have just created. So you can upload all sorts of files that you might want. Here we are creating a text file. Alright, you can create a CSV file or you can upload any file from your computer basically, right? So here I am creating a file. This file contains hello AWS boto3. then we can use S3 client.upload file, give the file name, bucket name, and the S3 key, right? So the file that we are uploading will be available in this particular file. Think of it as the file name inside S3. And then we are listing down the different objects present in a given bucket. Alright, let's run this piece of code. Alright, so we have uploaded this particular file to this particular bucket, and it contains this particular file inside it. We can confirm that by going inside AWS. So this is the bucket. Inside this bucket, you have the hello.txt file that we just created. Now we can go inside this. Now you see here you can find all the information related to this file. Now if you want to see the contents of this file, you can click on the object URL, but there's a catch here. You can't yet access this file publicly. Alright, if you try to open this, we are not able to see this. Access denied. Now in order to open this particular link through which you can publicly access this file, you need to enable public access for that particular file. So in order to do that, so here we are doing it at a bucket level. So for this particular bucket, alright, we will put public access block. So set this and set all the different accesses to false here. So basically these are all restrictions or blocks. Alright, from true we are turning it to false here. And then we set a bucket policy, right? The version statement, and you have the bucket name here. Alright, and the effect should be equal to allow. So with this policy, we use the put bucket policy command to actually apply the policy to the particular S3 client that we have just connected to. Alright, on running this, that particular file, and not just that file, all the files in that particular bucket should become publicly accessible. So let's make sure we have the correct bucket name here. Need to change this to 3 and run this particular cell. Alright, so let it run. Now this has run and we should be able to access that particular file from this particular URL. So let's go back to S3. Now we try to access this file. It has downloaded. So now we can open it, and that contains hello AWS boto3. So this is the file. Now alternately, if you don't want to make that object public permanently, then you can generate a pre-signed URL. So this is sort of like a temporary URL you can use to share that file to someone else, and this is going to be valid for 1 hour duration. To create this, use the client's generate pre-signed URL. So use this method, give the bucket name and the key, the name of the file, and set the expiration time also. So this will generate the URL. So this has done it already here, and by using this URL, you will be able to share that file across. Alright, finally we will look at few more essential operations. That is how to say download a file, then delete an object and delete the entire bucket also. Alright, so you can do this. Now if I run this, the entire bucket will go off. So here, look at this. I'm going to change this to 3, and then we can first download the file. Alright, and then we will delete that object inside the bucket and then delete the bucket itself. Now let me run this. Alright, so this has run. Now if I go to the buckets, my S3 buckets, look at this. That bucket will not be present anymore. Alright, only right now, only this particular bucket is present. The -3 is not present. That means it has worked, and with this we have completed the S3 part. In the next one, we will see in more detail about the EC2 instances. That is, we will create an EC2 instance and see how to access it from your local to the EC2 server that is present inside your AWS.